Good evening. I'm Rafael Martinez, and this will end in darkness. As you can hear, audio issues still continue a bit. We will be doing what we can to work with it. One of the items, as we mentioned in 43.5, which we shouldn't even do a recap. People should be listening to every episode. That's the way I see it, but people have other things to do. I get it. But we referenced that one of our pieces of equipment is down. So the mic's a little bit closer to me. You'll probably be more in my nostrils than you ever thought you would be. Welcome to Nostril Town. I don't know what to tell you. Doing the best we can here. We also explained where we've been the last 2 weeks. But we're not going to explain it here. You have to go back and listen to 43.5. It's a shorter episode. I thought they would have appreciated that. A little how do you do? Hey, here's what's going on. The numbers on that one a little low. Not excited about that. Here we are, just trying our best. Trying our best. It's fun. But what a week. To be an American. What a week to be a person. Just when things change in life, you don't know how to deal with it. And when something becomes a pattern, when something becomes clearly obsolete, what do you do with it? It's been running rampant for years. Ongoing. On every street corner at one point in this country. I just don't know when the time would. I didn't know when the time was going to come where we'd have this serious discussion about something that needs to change here in this country. Particularly this city. Recently, we've removed the last payphones in New York. A remnants of an uncultured age. Something that had outlived its usefulness. The kind of thing that only criminals, pimps, and the occasional murderer would use. The payphone. And now New York has gotten rid of all of them. And I am happy. It was time. The payphone had its time. We needed it at a time. We did. You would judge people who used the payphone, though. They were a level of person you probably didn't want to get too close to. If they allowed themselves to get close to a payphone, who knows what else they get close to, germ-wise. I don't think anyone's ever used a payphone without coming to the conclusion at the end, you've caught a disease you're never getting rid of. I've only ever used a payphone maybe 5 times in my life. And every time, I was grossed out. Finally, a menace is gone. The payphone. Kids should not know about payphones. How archaic they were. There were people who enjoyed using payphones, who would call you in the middle of the day to have a conversation with you publicly. Just wasting quarters. If a person can have these kind of private conversations public, what else can they do public? Is what I ask. Some of you have asked, does Ralph only wear flat brim hats? I don't. Today I'm not wearing one. I'm wearing a curved brim hat. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Shaking things up. You see? We try here to put on a show. Payphones were just tombstones of a bygone era. You looked at them, you respected their service, but it was time for them to go. Society had moved on. We had cell phones now. We had moved on as society. There was no need to talk to each other anymore. Let's just text each other or social media message each other. There was no need to talk anymore. Engage with other people. That was done. And the payphone had to go. And we looked at that and we said, you're right. This no longer works. We're going to get rid of these. And that's why I'm proud to be an American this week. Oh, I'm sorry, what happened? Oh, really? Another one of those happened. Well, here we are again. I was really feeling, you didn't even let me get a chance to feel good. The second I said proud, you were like, pump the brakes. Listen, what can be said about school shootings that hasn't already been said? You can't really say much more. There's smarter people than I who can say more. The only thing I've always wondered about it is, if you notice, two-way absolutists always say it's a mental health issue, not necessarily a gun issue. But why isn't mental health care reformation under their mandate? If something is giving your belief or your constitutional right a bad rap, wouldn't you want to go fix that other thing so it deflects the blame where it deserves, in your opinion? So I never understood that part. Why wasn't that added into the mandate? It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And yeah, that's all I can say. There's stories of the cops went in to save their kids first, and then let the other kids stay. I mean, that's a philosophical question I've seen thrown around. Like, if you're in that cop's position and your kid's in that school, who are you going for first? And I mean, the parent and everyone goes, my kid. The citizen and everyone else goes, save as many kids as you can. But how do you make that risk? But the problem is, or how do you make that choice? But the problem is, these cops didn't make that choice. They just went to get their kid, and that was it. They didn't even deal with the conundrum. They made it very clear what their choice was. My kid over everyone else, when you could have done both. There was a school teacher who died, and her husband died with a heart attack right afterwards. So there's that. You say all the generic stuff, like if other countries don't go through it, why do we go through it? And it's a tough one to answer. I mean, it's built into us, really, to have guns, militias, the Revolutionary War, all that shit. So how do you necessarily just go, hey, no more of that? Honestly, I don't even think you have to necessarily get rid of all of them. I think you just limit the amount someone can have. Other 2A people would say, now what if, now you're limiting the ability of the citizen versus the government. If they can amass multiple weapons at once, and we are only allowed a certain number, and if we have to revolt, if we're in a situation where we need to, would we have enough firepower to do it? But I mean, that's kind of the trade-off, isn't it? Like, it's gonna have to be a little harder. Which, to be honest, a revolution should be a little hard, because not every revolution is a good one. You know, ask Russia how they're doing. So, look at Venezuela. It's one of those things where coups and all that, they're all really fantasy oriented things when you get down to it. I don't think one would happen. Not in the way we're thinking, like full on war. It'd be a political one. It'd be guys backstage doing backdoor deals. That's what I would think. I think a coup is more organized than one thinks. I think there are always power players involved, and yeah, you got some muscle, but the deals are already made. No, you're fucked either way. Which is something we're going to explore soon here on this show. We got some historical episodes coming up. We're working on them now. Excited about that. See, that was nice. I gave them a little bit of what 43.5 was about. I hooked them up. You miss out on those audio onlys, man. There's some good stuff on there. But yeah, we're working on now. And the thing about it, the cases for the Second Amendment always seem to fall flat on me. And it's not because I don't believe in the Second Amendment. It comes from a radical, fantastical place that I can't see. And most of the people who hit me with it tend to be weird. There are very few 2A guys that are just chill, that aren't weird. But yeah, there are very few guys who are pro 2A that I can point to and go, that guy makes sense to me. And I want them to make sense. Like, I want the best of every argument. I just don't see too many, that are built in a reality that exists. Now, if you wanted to use the crime rate as an issue, the problem is people will then point out to other countries that have a lower crime rate because they get rid of guns. So you can't even use that as a thing, really. You have to really nuance that argument. Do I understand it as a protected right? Yeah, totally. I just think you might have to limit it extremely. Like a pistol a person. You don't get to have a full-on collection now. Pistol, unless you're like a museum. Which people don't think, if the revolution comes, good thing the museum has all those weapons. There are places. We're going to get to them first, what the military does. Break the glass. People come out with the sword of Excalibur and shit. We can, listen. So I'm solutions based. I'm trying to figure out how we do this right. Yeah, but unfortunately, you're going to have to limit it. A pistol a person. A pistol a person. That's going to suck. I don't think too many people are going to go for that one. Maybe a pistol and assault rifle per person. But you know what's going to happen, though? People, when they have kids, will purchase theirs ahead of time as a gift for the baby. For its protected 2A right. So they know it'll be really for them and not the kid. Yeah. Guys having babies for guns. I can see it. Men have done dumber things. We've done way dumber things than that. That'd be a walk in the park for us, really. That'd be the easiest thing we've ever done. So yeah, I think that could work. I think that one could work. Solutions, man. We're trying to find solutions. You hear the sirens outside. New York's falling apart, man. I guarantee, man. If New York became listen, a lot of people are carrying, but if it was out and about, people were less open about it, be an interesting city. Because I don't think it would necessarily keep people from shooting each other. I think people would do it more. New York's a pressure cooker, man. You're gonna have, man. Listen, but I always go. I always get back to it's the constitutional right of it all. But I still, there's gotta be a compromise. Mitch McConnell is trying to get a compromise going, which I don't know how much of that is political theater. I hope it's not. But you never know with Mitch. You never know. Mitch is the kind of guy that, he likes the kabuki theater of it all. I like to think that he believes he's in a John Grisham novel, which is adorable in its own way. Delusions people in power tell themselves. But they're trying to make something happen. Allegedly, respectfully. Honestly, I don't buy it. I don't think anything's going to happen. And with the Supreme Court we got now, definitely not going to happen. Man. I just remembered that. That's going to be a problem. But that's the Supreme Court we have. As a country we have. Things were just different when I was younger, I feel. Like, yeah, Columbine happened, I think, maybe when I was in the junior high. Maybe, probably a lot earlier. I would look it up if I was a better podcaster, but I'm not. All right. Saying it out loud hurt my feelings, so I'm going to look it up. $1999? Jeez, how old was I in 1999? Whoa. Sorry, I was watching a early settlers video on YouTube. Doing research. Columbine was 1999. How old was I? 19? I'm not going to expose how bad I am at math here, am I? I am. We're about to find out. You're going to see how difficult math is for me. This is a very vulnerable moment right now, people. I'm doing it because I want to get things accurate. So I'm 34 right now, right? All right, I'll take it seriously. All right. So 1999. How many years is that from now? I knew it. I just want to fuck around a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm having too much fun with this. 3 for 23. Damn, I was 11. So that's when that POD song came out. Yeah. I don't remember much from 11. I just remember it being like an abstract issue. It's just like, oh yeah, like that happens somewhere else. For me, guns were normal in that era of Brooklyn, really. So I wasn't necessarily a stranger to them. In schools, I was. Didn't think that would happen. And then for a while, you saw them blame everything under the sun, the Matrix, video games, and all that. And I never really hit. Because how can millions watch the same product and engage in the same product and not have those thoughts and go carry those things out? It wasn't the beginning of something. It was just actually the symptom of something. It's amazing how we as a country have that prism on things. It's always, we're catching something right when it starts, when it's actually the symptom of something that's been happening for quite some time. We're always late to the party, even though we're the ones throwing it. That's us. America late to the party. But there were like that was also just something that radically happened right in the beginning of the millennium. So when I was going into junior high, looking at high school, that's when it actually became a thing. Like that could happen. Because it only happened in high schools at the time. So you almost felt like, well, I got at least junior high in the bag. I'll get a junior high prom in case I don't get a real prom. And I'll make the most of it, and just hope that no one in my school loses their fucking mind. In high school, I went to Washington Irving, so we had metal detectors and shit. So I was safe from that. Probably wasn't safe from all the other weapons that could be brought in and snuck in, which a lot did. A lot did. There was a woman or a girl who snuck a blade up there in school, and then later cut somebody in the hallway. That was unhinged, but creative. But see, that was like kind of the violence we had. It wasn't necessarily all like whatever school shooter came in. It was more like up close and personal violence. So maybe that was part of it. Our teachers made us watch Bowling for Columbine. Cool documentary. But it still felt like a real white kid thing to do. And there is something uniquely white about it. There's a level of it where it's like, I'm going out, but I'm taking a few people with me. Or with us on this side of it, the black and brown side. We just prefer if it was one-on-one. Maybe our family, but we don't want too many other people involved. Just our enemy and sometimes our family. There is a difference. This is the darkness, people. This is what we're talking about here. We do it every weekend. But yeah, it never seemed real to me when I was a kid. It was just, now when you're an adult, it's real all the time. Now you're at an age when you're having kids, or people are having kids, or, you want to have kids. So you start thinking about it even more. I was the same age. I met a bunch of my high school teachers. I'm their age now, and I get it. You look at youth a little differently. You wonder about them. You hope they're all right. They hope everything's going good at home. Nothing's fucking with them. It's interesting in that way. Now being older, seeing that. You start thinking about it a little differently. Will laws change? I mean, listen, we have this conversation every time. The only thing we could put stock in is the things we see. If Mitch is truly willing to find some kind of compromise here, cool, man. Cool. If not, I half expect it. So I won't be disappointed. It'll just be normal, which is sad. And just hope that we can do better. That's not really a thing. I never liked that as a phrase, do better. It just seems so simplistic to me. But to be honest with you, it's a good thing to say when there's nothing else you can really say. So maybe it does serve its purpose in the higher lexicon of language. I don't know. I'm figuring out things as I go along, man. Now, granted, we're not going to solve the gun issue this week on this show. I wasn't sure what I wanted to say there. What would this be other than a show? A spectacle? I don't know. But we did get rid of the payphones. And that's a positive step forward. I think. Who were they for? Payphones were always a scumbaggy thing. I remember I was at Coney Island and I saw a guy get a beep on his beeper. That's how old this story is. Ran over to the payphone, dialed the number, and literally yelling on the phone, "Is that motherfucker there again, bitch?" went from boop boop to run. Is that motherfucker there again, bitch? From then on, I knew nothing good came from payphones. If you have to call someone on one, if you're receiving calls on one, that's a whole fucking different level of shady. Mysterious. Phone booths are out. Any movie with a phone now. It's just a historical drama now. The movie Phone Booth is in a different time. Literally a different era. Fantastic movie, Phone Booth, if you haven't seen it. Any movie that comes out now that has like New York City and payphones out there lives in an alternate universe. I don't make the rules. I just follow them. That's what a lot of Americans say. But I've been saying it since I was a kid, and it's gotten me by. I really don't like the audio right now, but I'm gonna live with it. Can't wait to fix this problem. But, yeah. I always hate the payphone. Always hate it. Especially in the summertime. It was so gross. Just looking at it, you just felt the grossness on it. And it was always like clammy, the fucking phone. No matter how far away you kept it from your face, just, it didn't matter. The germs were going to get you. There would be people who would call into radio stations from payphones, putting in requests for people they love on the radio station to play the song they want, dedicated to them. How could you love someone like that? They let themselves get close to a gross payphone. Who knows what they're bringing home to you? They're a liability at that point. A viral liability. If only we knew then what we know now. But God damn it, America does do things. Goodbye, payphone. You're out of here. The payphone will now go the way of the car cell phone. Those big bricks that dudes would answer. Typically also shady people. Never seen a person who wasn't shady with a cell phone in their car. Totally shades. I always imagine Long Island douchebags with those. Nice houses, solid family business. Everything's going fine for them. No trouble coming their way. Driving in my car, you know, just having a great time. Buttafuoco. Just having a grand old time. But I did get to see the facade in that, though. I did get to see the facade. Only the scummiest guys had, like, the car cell phone. Straight up Long Island douchebags. They got a nice business, a solid trophy wife at home. Everything's good. Nothing's bad on the island. It's all great. They had stupid names. Like Buttafuoco. Remember that? Oh, that's right. You're young, Bobby. Joey Buttafuoco? Oh, you don't know Amy Fisher, dog? I like this. All right, dude. He doesn't know about Amy Fisher. He's giving me this face like, okay, it's fine. It's fine. I will tell you. The anniversary actually just passed recently for Amy Fisher. Huge case when I was a kid. Huge case. They called it a Long Island Lolita. I believe the story goes, and we have a computer which I could check. Probably won't. Probably will, actually. Let's do this right, bro. This is a legend of the 90s. This was during the great courtroom boom and we're kind of experiencing one now. But the thing about that was the John Grisham Renaissance. You know, now in his true crime renaissance, it's not as good because with true crime, you're getting off to the gory details. But in the John Grisham Renaissance, you were getting off to the justice. So it's just weird now. We like the murderer now. We kind of understand him. We hate society too. But in the John Grisham Renaissance, we were all for punishing the people who are actually the ones committing crimes. These people with high-priced lawyers. But it just takes one guy who believes, gets past it. Law and order was around. We used to get off on justice. Now it's just the details. And Amy Fisher was one of those stories. I'm pulling up the case because I don't want to get it wrong here. We won't go into her early life. Let's just get into what happened. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Ralph talks about Amy Fisher. Okay. Now, Amy Fisher met Joey Buttafuoco at his auto body shop. I'm sorry. I'm feeling goofy today. Fisher later said she had damaged her own car several times as a pretext to see him. That is definitely a 16-year-old way of looking at things. I don't care how much it costs. I get close to him. She was putting dick on layaway because she was already putting money on it. So she knew it was going to go down. She just didn't know when. So she was putting down payment on the dick. Which no one would do that now. I don't think anyone would put some down payment on some dick. That's not going to happen. Right now, men are trash and we're bad at everything. So no one's putting down payment on them dick. But she became increasingly jealous of Buttafuoco's wife, Mary Jo Buttafuoco. She obtained a .25 caliber handgun with the assistance of Peter Guingenti, a Brooklyn auto supply salesman who acted as the getaway driver. So she just got a thing for guys in the auto business. Repairs, sells. She'll do it all. No, she's into it all. Maybe that was her dream, to own her own body shop. And now that dream's gone. I'm not empathizing with her. It's just something that we should at least feel a little sad about. Maybe that was her dream. When Mary Jo Buttafuoco answered the door, Fisher told her that Joey Buttafuoco was having an affair with Fisher's imaginary younger sister. So she goes up and then lies. I don't understand the lie because you're already young. You're already 16. And you're trying to convince this lady that her husband's having an affair with your younger sister. How much younger is he going? Because now it's not even an affair. It's just pedophile stuff. It's already weird. She's 16. I mean, it's already pedophile. She's 16. So I don't understand why go with the gimmick of the younger sister? It's her first time committing a crime. You know, you got to forgive the mistakes. Apparently, the conversation lasted 15 minutes. What do you say to someone after 15 minutes of that? Why was this conversation lasting that long? Mrs. Buttafuoco? I don't even care. Joey Buttafuoco. I'm calling whatever I call him. Apparently, his wife got upset, and she finally told Fisher to get out of here. Then Fisher took out a handgun, the .25 caliber handgun, struck struck her twice, then shot her in the head. Like, damn. How good was this dick? I've never seen a woman kill over no dick. Ever. Never seen it in my life. Not to say it probably doesn't happen. I just never witnessed it. Nor have I ever been somebody worth killing for, to be honest with you. I imagine Joey Buttafuoco felt really good about that, at least. Someone's willing to do that for you. Let's see how else this pans out. Okay, so when he was interviewed by the police, he kind of said, yeah, this chick Amy Fisher, she might be the shooter. So he kind of gave up the game there, didn't he? How do you name the shooter? This is like when George W. Bush, George H.W., called the CIA about Lee Harvey Oswald. No, actually, no, it was Jack Ruby. It was one of them. Like, he had dinner with one of them like a week prior and kind of directed you should look at him for, like, I guess either it was probably most likely Jack Ruby. You kind of give up the whole game there, my friend. Now, the wife survives. Now she's probably got some questions. You get shot in the head and survive? That's life altering. Now, Fisher, you have to imagine she, at least at this point, believes the affair happened. Because she has to agree with you and I, Bobby, that no woman would kill over some dick unless it was great. Now, she's got to be in on this with us. She's got to know. She's got to know by now. You've been shot in the head. There's no bigger way to prove a point than shooting someone in the head. That's my opinion. But Fisher was arrested, charged with attempted murder, because she didn't murder. That's a key point here. It's a key point. And she submitted a plea bargain, and she pleaded guilty to first-degree assault. She took the shot. You can't say she didn't shoot her shot. She did. "16 years old, man. That's rough." How old was Buttafuoco during this damn time? He was 35 years old. He's my age. Oh, dude. Yeah. Why does he look like shit, though, for 35? People didn't age well back then. They still don't. Some people just don't age well. Whose fault is that? I'll never know. Genetics, maybe. Maybe we don't drink as much as the old generation used to. Maybe we're a bit more chill. So we're aging better. Maybe it's the food, the hormones, all of it. Oh, then she got into trouble right before her trial. Hard Copy. Oh, man. I used to love watching Hard Copy. Hard Copy had gotten a tape of her talking to Paul Mackley, the owner of a gym in Massapequa, where they come from. And the tape recorded hours before she agreed to... Wait, why was he recording the conversation? Oh, what a dick. So she said she wanted to marry him, and she could be seen on tape saying, "That will keep my name in the press. I want my name in the press." Why? Because I can make a lot of money. I figure if I'm going through all this pain and suffering, I'm getting a Ferrari. Listen, on here, we have a very simple code. Grifter's gonna grift, and we support grifts. So I support this grift. She's right. Honestly, come on. Just think about this for a minute. Joey Buttafuoco seduced her. She was an underage girl. She was impressionable. She should get a Ferrari. She should do the jail time. I'm not saying not saying she didn't done the jail time. But why not a Ferrari too? Balance it out. Let's see. She got sentenced to 5 to 10 years in prison, served 7 years, and was granted parole in 1999 after Ira Wexner shortened her maximum sentence to 10 years, which made her immediately eligible for parole. Joey Buttafuoco, of course, in 1992, denied having an affair with Amy Fisher. So they at first said he wouldn't be prosecuted for statutory rape because they couldn't find any evidence. But, however, February 1993, the case against him was reopened due to rape charges made by Fisher. She testified against him in court based on that testimony and hotel receipts dated before Fisher's 17th birthday. Buttafuoco's signature was on them, and he was charged with statutory rape. He pleaded guilty and only served 4 months in prison. So, he seduces young girl goes crazy, shoots his wife, he does 4 months in prison. I don't make the laws, I just follow them. That's a little horseshit, isn't it? The scumbag's getting away with it. I mean, at this point, if he was already cheating on his wife with a 16-year-old, I don't think he necessarily cares about his marriage. I think he's fine with the marriage ending. But the Buttafuoco's out here is doing whatever the hell he wants. Only 4 months in prison. But what happened to Amy Fisher afterwards? She was released from prison. She became a columnist for the Long Island Press. What was this article about? What was this column about? What was she writing about? Her life? Other court cases? Wish I had known we were going to talk about this sooner, actually. We'll come back next week, I think, with some Amy Fisher columns. We can judge her writing appropriately. I don't want to judge her writing now. I haven't even read her biography if I knew then. It was a New York Times bestseller, She's got 3 kids. Formerly divorced. Her and Buttafuoco reunited at the Lingerie Bowl in 2006 to do the coin toss. They're getting their Ferraris. She was also in celebrity rehab. See, that's the thing. That's the one thing about America that's really interesting. You could shoot another man's wife in the head and become a celebrity and end up on celebrity rehab. All she was is a famous criminal, and she gets to be a celebrity. Good on VH1 for seeing past her crimes and wanting to help her get help. Or helped her get help. Whatever the correct pronunciation of that sentence was supposed to be. I'm not the one that put Amy Fisher on VH1, okay? They did. And to be honest with you, I would put her on VH1 as well. She was ratings, man. People followed that case. Joey Buttafuoco, man, remember he did like celebrity boxing because of this shit. She went to go write for the Long Island Press, which I don't know if she writes for them now. I can tell you what she's doing now. She's in the sex industry now. Yeah. She's a full-on webcam model now. Well, she's not making adult films anymore. She was doing that in the early 2000s. Now she's just a webcam model. I mean, listen, there are people who probably fantasize about Amy Fisher, which that makes them weird because she was 16 at the time. I don't know what new fan base she's generating. Like, how is she getting these subs? Like, new people find out about the case and find her and they subscribe? She's definitely got more subs than we do. You think WRKM would fire me if I brought her on this show? Or do you think we get canceled for interviewing Amy Fisher? Because it is a life. She lived a life. She shot someone in the head, became famous, infamous really, and now has a career apparently doing very well as a webcam model. She's lived a life in its totality. She's been through so much. She probably has so much insight onto the world itself. I'd be interested in talking to Amy Fisher. I wonder if she'd do it. I don't think she would. Because I would want to talk about the case. I would want to talk about it. What's Joey Buttafuoco up to? He definitely got he had to have done some TV appearances. Well, they made fun of him on SNL. Made the Lingerie Bowl. Okay. So Joey Buttafuoco reappeared in 2009 on Judge Pirro, successfully suing an adult film actress for failure to pay her auto body bill. He also appeared on Judge Judy. He just can't stay out of the court. His wife, Mary Jo, wrote a tell-all book, Getting It Through My Thick Skull, Why I Stayed, What I Learned, and What Millions of People Involved with Sociopaths Need to Know. I was wondering how Mary Jo was doing. Oh, she was on Megyn Kelly in 2018. Let's pull up the video. I always love me some Megyn Kells. I think she's an alright person. She does her best. Alright, let's test this out.
It was a story the media and America could not get enough of. Dubbed the Long Island Lolita, teenager Amy Fisher took a gun to the wife of her alleged lover. A story revisited in Oxygen's popular series, Snapped. Mary Jo Buttafuoco was her target. And husband Joey Buttafuoco, well, what was his role? All these years later, some questions still linger. Watch this.
I'm hooked.
37-year-old
She's so
Mary
good,
Jo
Megyn Kelly.
Buttafuoco, mother of two and Long Island housewife, had a seemingly perfect life. But on the morning of May 19th, 1992,
well, we know this. We know
everything
this.
changed in an instant.
Let's.
Started out like every other day in my.
We know this, right? We've seen them. We already know. I want to get to when she
2012.
sits down.
Mary Jo Buttafuoco joins
Let's
me
go.
now. Welcome, Mary Jo. Great to see you.
She's got the perfect Long Island outfit. So perfect.
Does not bring back pleasant memories.
What a lot of fun.
Yeah, right? But the series Snapped really does show you talking about it in great detail.
Yeah.
And I think, one of the questions everybody has is, do you remember the moment? Do you remember the moment that she took out that gun and what it felt like?
I don't. I mean, I remember the conversation I had. I remember her knocking on my door. I remember going out to see. It was a kid outside in the door. It was a broad daylight. It was a Tuesday at 11:30 in the morning. I was
Like we said.
painting in the backyard. So I see this teenager at the door, and I go, and she said, "Are you Mrs. Buttafuoco?" And I said, "Yeah." And as I'm walking, I see her, and I see a guy in a car. And in my head, I thought, oh, she must need an estimate. She's coming by to look for Joey. She knows my name. She's got my name. She knows who I am. She's looking for Joey. And that's when I got the story that her little sister was having an affair with Joe. And
That's what she claimed.
That's what she said to me right then. I came here to tell you that my little sister's having an affair with your husband. And I got painting gloves on. I got paint on. I'm like, really? What is this about? And the more she talked, and I'm 20 years older than she is. And like when a little kid's got chocolate on their mouth, and they're saying, I didn't have the chocolate. I didn't eat the, they're lying. But I didn't know about what. Like, I did never.
I like how she's working a set. Like, she's got jokes now. Mary Jo's got some jokes when she tells this story. All right. I I like it. Listen, she flipped into an act. Life doesn't end at our tragedies. You can flip things into an act if you can. And that's what Mary Jo chose to do, and I respect it. Let's see what else she got.
Saw her before, never met her before.
What is this about?
Yeah. So I started questioning her. Like, what's your name? Where do you live? What are you telling me this? What do you want me to do about this? And, well, I think you should know. And I'm like, look, all right. Okay. And in my head, I'm thinking, what the hell did he do now? What on earth did he do now? That I got to...
Why do you think she...
She gets a laugh. She gets a laugh. Someone did laugh. And the problem is, it's like the wrong crowd for her because they're expecting like the gory details and she's trying to keep it real Broadway, like bam, 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 zingers. Because she realizes that this is like morning TV. You need to there needs to be some levity here. This is she got shot in the head. You know what I mean? But she can still have jokes. Her life, her life moved on. She moved on. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm really impressed with this performance right now. It's pretty good.
Went through that ruse. I mean, if she had shown up there to shoot you, why would she go through the ruse of this fake conversation?
I don't know.
You don't know the
You know, it was I don't know. She wanted my reaction. She wanted me to get mad. I don't know what she wanted. I didn't see a gun. There was no threat of a gun. There was nothing.
Did you feel the
Well, I
shooting?
turned my head. Like I said, look, I don't know what you want me to do. I got to go in. I'm finishing painting. I said, I'll call Joe and tell him you came by. And I turned my head.
She's getting laughs.
my
She's
head.
getting laughs.
And it just, there was an explosion in the side of my head. And just like that, I was gone. And I often think if I had stopped to turn, like it went right in here.
Yeah.
And if I had stopped to look at her,
That would've been
I wouldn't
bad.
be sitting here.
It would have
right
been a
now.
different outcome.
I just went, in the split second that it took me to turn and get the door open, because the door jamb had blood in it. I learned that afterwards from police. So I was getting ready to go in the house, and she just pulled out this gun and shot me.
Mary Jo gets taken to the hospital. The prognosis was grim.
Oh, yeah.
It's a miracle she is sitting here today talking about this. But the question is, then,
Why is Megyn Kelly talking like this? She never did that on Fox News. It's just, and I like Megyn Kelly. Like I would have like a glass of wine with Megyn Kelly. I'd have a beer with Megyn Kelly. But it's just like, I don't know. It's like this alien, soulless thing, and Mary Jo's just trying to get these jokes off. It's killing the vibe.
what, right? Because how did she tell the police who to look for? How did she get to that point? And what about Joey? What was his role in all of this? We'll pick it up there after the break. Mary Jo Buttafuoco's life was torn apart when she was shot by Amy Fisher back in 1992. Over the years, the relationships between Mary Jo, Joey Buttafuoco, and Amy have been all over the place, to say the least, from openly hostile to forgiving, and then right back to openly hostile. So where do things stand now? Mary Jo Buttafuoco's back with us now. So
I think Megan's
we'll just
getting it
first
now.
Start with you're in the
Megan
hospital.
realizes she's got to make some
You come
jokes too.
to, you defy the odds, and they give you a pad of paper. And what did you write on that pad of paper?
I wrote down what she told me. I couldn't speak because I had a trach tube in me. And I wrote down 19-year-old girl, Anne Marie. I think I wrote the name. I can't remember the name of the street. Like, these are the things. And I did write. She said she was, I think I started to write, she said she was having an affair. And it faded out because I was in and out of consciousness.
That moment could not have been huger because the cops, it never even occurred to them to be looking for a
they
teenage
thought it was
woman.
a guy. Yeah, they thought it was a man. It
Yeah.
had to be. And then
So then she, of
Had
course,
to be.
was under arrest shortly thereafter.
Sexist.
First of all, I know at the time when he ultimately, Joey got charged with statutory rape because she was underage. At that time, you didn't even believe that he had slept with her. Do you now believe that?
I do now know that.
Okay.
I now know that.
Okay. And he wound up pleading guilty to one count of statutory
Right.
rape. She also
She worked herself into a shoot. She legitimately thought, just like we did, that there's not a woman on this earth that would shoot a man or shoot another person over some dick. We all worked ourselves in them shoots. Live and you learn, I guess. Live and you learn.
said that he orchestrated the whole thing, that he was actually behind it, wanted the murder. Do you believe that?
I know that's not true because when I survived and I identified her and she was arrested, now it becomes, okay, we know she did it. So now the defense becomes, but Joey made her do it. So that became...
That was her trying to get off the
That
hook.
was her attorneys saying, you know, that this poor child who could shoot somebody in cold blood, you know, was manipulated by this guy.
So that there's never been any proof of that other than her claim, and you don't believe that to this day.
And now it's 26 years later. I know that. It was just the defense that they needed to do, but it drew, you know, it struck a chord. How
Well, the whole country watched
Yeah.
this. This is before OJ. This was like national. You guys remember this case, right? And it must have been highly unpleasant. Yes. But how did you get to the point where you ultimately, did you testify to her parole board or you forgave her?
Well, the first time she came up for parole, I didn't. I was angry for a lot of years. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. I'm not a saint. I really was angry. I was on medications for pain and anxiety, and it was just easier to take a pill and just be resentful that she came to my life and did this and that he did this and that. And then it got to a point
Now
I
she's
wound
dragging
up
it.
going
Now
to
she's
the
dragging
Bedford
it.
Center.
She's dragging it.
It was a gift. It was a blessing. And it was there that I learned that this is it, Mayor. This is it. This has happened to you. What are you going to stay like this? You lived. You survived something that people don't survive. What are you going to do about it? And they kind of turned me around. And as I got sober and straightened out, I realized, yeah, I did live. What can I do with this? And then I moved forward. So when you forgive, you're not saying, oh, it's fine that you came and shot me. No problem.
Still hitting.
It's like, you know what? I can't have you in my head
Still
anymore.
hitting.
You've already tried once to kill me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You tell him, Mary
The
Jo.
bullet is
This
still in
compelling
there.
ass
I
shit.
couldn't remove the bullet because it would have been too damaging.
It was too close to my carotid, to my spinal cord.
So do you have ongoing effects from that?
Yes, I do. I have no hearing in my right ear at all. My temporal mandibular joint is shattered. My carotid artery on this right side is severed. They sewed that back together. I have vision problems. I have paralysis on the right side of my face.
So you're still...
Yeah, it's a bullet is very, you know, it's permanent.
Yeah,
when a
you
bullet
don't
strikes.
recommend it.
No.
What about Joey? How's your relationship with him?
All right. All right. Megan got the cue at some point. Megan realized it's time to be a little funny. It's time to have some jokey jokes, this woman, because clearly she's making jokes to get through it. So Megyn Kelly's got to join in on the funny. All right. Now Megyn Kelly's in the same space as she is. This is going to be a better segment, I think.
I have a cordial relationship.
You're divorced now.
We've been divorced a long time, 18 years. We have 2 adult children. We have a grandchild together. You know, we have to see him at birthday parties or weddings or stuff like that. So it's cordial.
He's got the Raiden from Mortal Kombat look.
It's okay.
And what are your thoughts on Amy Fisher now and what her life's become?
Unfortunately, again, like I said, when I went to the Pro Bowl the second time and said, look, I'm forgive you, you know, you did a terrible thing, and, you know, you're young, maybe you can change your life around and do something positive with this. Well, you know, now she's a webcam girl. She's 44 years old.
Now we're going to shame the sex worker?
We all got old. And she has 3 children, which I think she's destroyed their lives as much as she destroyed my children's life. She's a narcissist. It's all about her. She's never changed. She's never grown.
You were hoping for better.
Yeah, right?
Hey,
I would like
hey.
to hope for better.
Listen, I mean, you know what everybody else.
She's full on
comes to
burying
at
Amy
some point,
Fisher.
which is you only have control over yourself, right? And you seem amazing. Thank you for coming back and revisiting the story.
Listen, I get it. Amy shot her. We didn't have to bury her that way. Talking about our kids that way. Damn, man. It's a little fucked up. You know? Shame the sex worker. That's not cool. Marry Joe. It's not cool at all. It's kind of a cunty thing to do. I can see why for Joey. And I can see why now. I don't respect the choice of Amy. He could have got someone his own age, but I get it now with the home, man. That sounds like horror. Sounds like a fucking know-it-all if you ask me. Yes, she is the one that got shot, and it's unfortunate. Mary Jo Buttafuoco. It happened. Amy shouldn't have done it. But holy shit, she fucking bury Amy hard. Now, she did mention a few of her injuries. Lifelong injuries. So maybe I can understand the cuntiness there. But I still find Mary Jo to be quite mean to a woman who was manipulated by her husband and more than likely asked Amy Fisher to carry out that mission. Because I find it hard to believe that he didn't. But hey, allegedly, you know, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. Time will tell. Because him and Amy seem to be real chill with each other. Doing, you know, reunions and such. I even saw like a gloss they were selling with them signing with their signatures of him like whispering in her ear. I'm like, they flipped it into a gimmick. And that's what America does. We flip bad behavior into a gimmick. It's not a flaw, it's style. Jerry Garcia said when you fail, you're just being stylish, I believe. That's what America's adopted. We don't fail. We just have style. It's just culture. Shout out to the Buttafuocos, man. Shout out to Amy Fisher. Happy everyone's doing better. Well, we went down a rabbit hole there. I actually didn't think we'd go that far. I was actually thinking about wrapping up the episode about 20 minutes ago. The best part about this is you guys care. And they'll watch as much as minutes we put on. Or will you? Are you staying for the entire episode? Are you watching the entire thing? I hope you are. It takes a lot of work to do it. But then again, no matter how much work I do, no matter how much effort I put in, I'm still going to enjoy this show. And that's what matters. You know, what would have really helped out the Buttafuocos and Amy is a little bit of gun control. So, you know, something to ponder. But then again, I think we all know how this one is going to end.